Biggest mistake I ever made, financially speaking. Selling my investments, dipping into my savings so I can afford to buy material things. Shiny object syndrome. Do not go into debt. Do not. I repeat, do not go into debt. That is one of the silliest things one can do, especially if they're young. And I'm speaking from experience because I have seen money come and I have seen money go. And I've seen money vanish into thin air. And the price one has to pay in order to accumulate their way out of debt is almost as high as it is to run the bank up to the moon, if you will. It's like debt is such a sinking ship. It is such a hole, a pit of financial despair. It can make a grown man cry. I mean, the amount of energy put into getting out of debt is ridiculous. And especially as it almost compounds. It's like when money starts to compound upward, when you see the bag grow, it also compounds downwards as one begins to spend more and try to live lavish when they cannot afford it. How does this happen? How does one spiral into debt? I mean, you see it in billionaires, you see it in poverty, you see it everywhere. How does one do this? And it really comes down to one simple principle, which is spending more than you earn for a long enough time that it basically wipes out all your earnings and savings until you're crumbling down into debt. So why does this happen to begin with? At least from what I can tell and from what I've seen, including myself and others, is called lifestyle inflation. Okay, lifestyle inflation. So the money starts to go up. The success starts to roll in. Maybe an investment's going well. Maybe a business is going well. Maybe they got a promotion at a job. Maybe they're making whatever it is. The money is going up. And then for some reason, for one reason or another, one begins to think, oh, okay, now I can start to let go of the reins a little bit on my good financial habits. And let me just splurge a little bit. Let me just go on this vacation. Let me just buy this nice new car to impress the Joneses down the road. Let me just get this new Amiri Gavinci Fendi slipper so I can look cool when I wake up. So I can impress these people, or buy a new BMW to impress a girl, whatever it is. And this starts to happen, and it starts small, it starts small, and then it starts to kind of roll, and it's a snowball, and it begins to compound and compound and compound. And then the main focus isn't making money anymore. The main focus becomes, how can I look like I have money? How can I look like I'm rich? And then before you know it, the individual that's trying to look like they're rich ends up poor. And then they still want to look like they're rich because they cannot face the shame or humility of realizing that they're going to be found out for not being rich or not having as much money as they say. So they try to keep it up, and then they go into debt, and the snowball sort of continues and continues until eventually it reaches a breaking point, and they either go bankrupt or they decide to turn it all around. That's one way I've seen it. Or another way I've seen it is just very poor risk management, like getting too greedy too quick, trying to take a bet when with lack of information. That could also just be fueled by the desire to spend more money, whatever it is. But all in all, how does one avoid debt? Just do the opposite. Spend less, save more. Value wealth over riches. Value the long term over the short term. Do not care about what other people think of you. Do not care if people think you're rich. Do not care if people think you got a lot of money, or if you're driving a rundown car, or you're wearing years old clothes or hand-me-down. Don't care about that stuff at all, because their opinions really don't matter in the long run. Well, they don't even matter right now anyways, but in the long run, they're going to be gone. You're going to be gone. Don't worry about other people's opinion. Stack the bread up for yourself and your spouse and your family and your friends. The richer you are, the richer they are, for the most part. and for your future family, if you don't have a family yet, or your grandkids, whatever it may be, think about those things as opposed to shiny objects. That's just slavery. Like, nobody needs, and this is going to be a bit of a rant, okay? Nobody needs the fresh new cut, okay? Nobody needs a fresh new haircut. You can get a friend or your spouse or somebody to do that for you. It's like nobody needs all these fancy new clothes or cars or anything like that. Like, it's literally just slavery. It is, the more one wants to spend money, the more they are a slave, in my opinion, to the money. So the less you need, the more free you are, is kind of how I look at it. So try to cut down your living costs as much as you can and expand your earning potential as much as you can. And I feel like that leads to wealth, that leads to riches, long term, of course. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Do take care, guys. Do subscribe. And until next time.